Hello everyone and welcome back. We're going to continue our conquest, or rather conquest by trade, of the Scandinavian region this week. So let's hop straight into it. Okay, first the normal checks. Okay, improving diplomatic relations, that's fine. Military tech, fine. Might want him to train troops actually. That situation over with our neighbours in Norway could be getting a little bit uppity, so I want to make sure that we're good there. Stewards collecting taxes, that's fine. The Spymaster is scheming, that's fine. I've got no one I particularly want to set him loose on at the moment. That's quite a low opinion of me, so I might want to do something about that. Spymaster with a low opinion of you is quite dangerous. Court Chaplain, fine. Okay, brilliant. How am I with my religious head? 47, okay, I should be reasonably safe there. Okay, let's check out my Spymaster then. Why doesn't he like me? Feudal tax, envious and cruel. Alright, well, we can send him a gift. Can we afford to spend 20 gold? We'll leave him for now. We'll come back to that. Target, yes, of course, this is one of the sons of one of my rival families, so killing him will lower their trade post limit. Laws are fine, I'm not looking to change them at the moment. I don't think I could get away with larger feudal taxation. Yeah, my vassals are quite... I'm borderline with them at the moment, so maybe in a few years. Tech, don't really want to spend any of these points at the moment, because all of these are pretty close to completing on their own. Economy, on the other hand, that could work a little bit better. Town infrastructure, cities are quite important to a republic, so I will actually spend some money there, because that will help get me a bit more tax in. You see, with this I unlock new buildings and I also get new tax modifiers, so I've got a bit of extra tax coming in, hopefully. Always nice. Cultural advantage, noble customs, an extra 2 to my opinions, my vassals, that could be quite useful. Religious customs as well. Actually, yeah, we'll invest in that, because that should help slightly offset problems with my Spymaster. Sometimes you've got to take the little bonuses where you can find them. Military still seems to be recovering. Intrigue, that plot should be fine. There's no one else who can join at the moment, so no troubles there. Factions, still got wars in Sweden going on. That could potentially get dangerous if this guy's military isn't on the front line, but we can monitor that. Religion is fine. The Republic, we're at our trade post limit, so no worries there. And we're trying to keep down Guildfusen by killing one of his offspring. This one, in fact, I believe. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, this war going on over here. Obviously we decided not to join because it would cost us a lot of resources, and given that it's just over one county, it should be fine for now. So we'll probably see this lot try and pillage a few lands, see if they can make some money out of it. Okay, we've got new factions. Nope, those were for elective succession in Sweden, I believe. Let's have a quick look. Cognatic elective, yeah. And unfortunately, I am neither a person who is able to elect nor a person who is able to be elected. It sucks to be me. Okay, that war score is crashing down, and it's only going to go further down. This is going to be unpleasant. On the other hand, if he's able to do a bit of damage, I might actually weigh in on this, because if that army's got a good leader, it should at least be able to put up a very spirited last stand. No, their morale's starting to crumble. There we go. Okay, now how's that affecting factions? Yeah, Stradon has been... Yep, so one of our people has been nabbed. I hope they don't start coming over to Gotland. I don't think they will. Oh dear. That's not good. Oh well. Tengil's my marshal as well. Well, he's not going to be around for much longer. Okay, we've got quite a bit of money in the bank. Let's spend a bit. So, trade posts. I can't build any more, but I've got one in Jylland here, one in Suomi, one over here. Where's the fourth? Let's have a look at the Republic tab. Oh yeah, the fourth is currently under construction. And where was I building that one? I'm sure there was one around here somewhere. Oh well, I'll know when it's completed. This is the problem when you're doing these every fortnight, because I don't play these tutorial games outside of when I'm actually recording. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to keep track of everything. But, oh well, we'll know as soon as the trade post is finished. Unfortunately, ones that are in construction don't actually show up on the Republic menu. Yeah, let's slap a bit more money around for the time being. Let's upgrade some of these trade posts. So this local one here will add to the trade value of that trade zone. We should really build another trade port in here at some point, because otherwise we're risking losing it to Straben, because they've got one post there. They only need to get one more up to bring the trade zone into a no man's land. You need to have at least one more than the nearest rival to have control. How about the one in Jylland? Can we do anything there? Nope. This is a problem with these upgrades. They can get quite expensive. Okay. So that army's marching around making a nuisance of itself. Yeah, the war score is so low that, to be honest, unless I can completely crush that army in one go, which, given my meagre forces and the large price of mercenaries large enough to make a difference, is not possible. As I say, that was one of those areas where I needed to make a decision there and then. Oh dear. Plot revealed. Bugger. Minus 22, not good. We could pay 42% chance of success, 40% chance of being discovered, but only 50 gold. I would have hoped that this plot would have triggered by now. That's the only problem with these plots. You can get them up to an absurd level of power, but sometimes they just don't trigger. Oh, lost 50 gold, random event. And it shows you how important gold actually is when you're playing the Republic DLC, because you just get those random events where they'll just gain or lose 50 gold. Faction, oh, that's getting dangerous. That is very dangerous. So this guy could actually now be a genuine threat. So that's an unfortunate side effect of that war, is that the king's military has been so heavily depleted that his other levies... Oh, another 50 down the pan. Oh god, that's unpleasant. Merchant forces in Pilsen, Gotland. Okay, Halland. There we go. So I've secured my holdings here on Kattegat. So my yearly income, as you can see, is now very high. Those of you who check this menu whilst you're playing a non-Republic game, your jaws are probably hitting the floor by about now. But nevertheless, we have a nice big pile of money coming in each month. So we just need to make sure that we hold on to the control of the Republic, because it's being fueled partly by those taxes. Okay. Intimidating that as well. I decided I would stay put and fight. Rawr. Okay. So yeah, let's have a quick look at the breakdown here. Feudal tax isn't actually accounting for all that much. It's mainly just there to nibble away at the vassals and prevent them from getting money together. Okay, so you managed to reverse the damage with Baron Tengil. Well done. Most of the income, as you can see, is coming from my dements and from trade. So upgrading my dements a little might help. City fortifications, I'm not too bothered about that in a moment. Okay, that's an event to improve Marshall. Gained 2 martial and 15 prestige, and I've completed my ambition. So it's time to pick another one. So, old Botstein, I don't know. He's turning into an alright character. Unfortunately, his stats were never particularly brilliant to begin with. So, I could attempt to become King of Sweden. And actually, given how crapped out the armies are at the moment, I could stand a chance if I hired some mercenaries. But that said, I really don't want to do that. Maintaining control of them would be a nightmare. So I could try and have a daughter, seeing as I've got plenty of sons, but I don't think I will do that. I could try and amass wealth to gain a bit of stewardship. Stewardship is very useful to a patrician character, and 500 gold would actually be quite easy to get hold of as well. On the other hand, I could try and go for a council position. That would bring me more prestige, which would make diplomacy a bit easier. Go with wealth for now. I could try and gamble and hope that my wife's current pregnancy results in a daughter, but there's no guarantee of it, and that 10 piety isn't really all that useful to me anyway. Quick look at the event screen. Anything good? Commissioner Runestone. What do we have here then? So what does that do? Commissioner Runestone, to chronicle your exploits or the memory of a dead parent. This can be done only once a lifetime, but others will look more favourably on you for a time. Is it worth 100 gold? I don't know what the bonuses are going to be. This is something that's new. I think this is part of the Old Gods DLC, which I purchased recently, and I have been playing, and I've been having a lot of fun as Ivar the Boneless, trying to smash my way through most of the UK. I've already been able to create I've already been able to nick Scotland, which was quite fun. I won't do any of those for now. I'd just love to know why this event hasn't triggered. Come on, you're killing me. You're tearing me apart, Hakansson. Oh, another 50 gold. Bloody hell, this is not good. Someone needs to be looking at who the hell is building these ships, because they're going down like flies, man. Okay, now will that trigger it? 234%? Come on, somebody shiv the guy already. Okay, so that war is now over. We've lost Dahl. Hey, a daughter. I should have picked that ambition, but hey, hindsight's always 20/20. I was going to say 50/50 then. Okay. So we're not even getting much money together thanks to this string of bad events. Okay, levy reinforcement rate, that's nice. But seeing as we're already at maximum levies, I'm probably going to switch him back to research military tech. Oakley dokley, let's have another quick look at the technology areas. Okay, still got quite a bit in military, but nowhere that I actually really want to spend it, truth be told. I don't have that much in the way of heavy infantry, so it doesn't make that much sense to spend that money when I can get that bonus automatically in a few more years. How long before my kids start growing up? Brilliant, nearly got one more. So hopefully, once that kid comes of age next year, I can put down another trade post. So I better start trying to save money up for that, if the game doesn't feel the need to just suddenly take it away from me. Okay, so that faction's stabilised somewhat. Bugger this, I'm setting the bloody Chancellor to build spy network to improve assassination chances. Anything to try and chick this guy over the bloody edge. I hate it when these events don't trigger, it's so annoying. In an unknown location. That might be why he's vanished. Okay, so let's pause because one of my kids has. So he's somewhere in Gotland, but in an unknown location. So what, is he in hiding? I've never seen that before. Oh, maybe one of you who's played the game a little bit will have actually seen that before and knows what it is. So, oh, he's depressed as well. Okay, so one of my kids has come of age. Okay, that's not giving me an extra bonus. Palace plus 3, 4, 5. So I should have 5, I think. Trade practices minus 30%. So that's caused a bit of a problem there. So we want to try and improve trade practices if we can. That's quite an important skill for. Yeah, there we are. It's quite an important skill for republics, for obvious reasons. So when does the next Sprog come of age? 2 more years. Okay. In the meantime, my family dues are going up. I don't know, inconsiderate gits. How dare they be born? Have Straben built their 4th trade? Guildhusen even built their 4th trade post? They have not. But why can't I kill this guy? Alright. Okay, I'm just going to fork out 50 gold. Hey, there we go. Perfect. So hopefully that should have lowered the trade post limit. That should... Yeah, there we go. So that's back down to 3. And in the meantime, I think we owe it to our liege to try and remove some of his opposition. Apparently he's actually quite well liked. Okay, sod that then. We'll leave this open for now, see if there's any other valid plots. There are none. One thing that you can do, if you are not the current head of your republic, so the patrician or the grand mayor or the serene doge, whatever the title is, you know, the head honcho, the liege lord, if you have a trade post in a territory adjacent to a trade post belonging to somebody else, you can plot to steal that trade post out from under them. You can also petition the liege lord of your republic to give you a trade post if you have very few and somebody else has a lot. So those are things that you're probably not going to see in this playthrough, because the way that I'm playing this, I'm trying to stay on top of the others. So you might not see that in this playthrough, but maybe you will. Maybe if I screw up, I'll lose the republic, and you know, I'll have to try and deal with that. So where are we? Okay. Next Sprog comes of age soon. Where are we going to put the next trade post? I'm thinking we want to try and reinforce the Seal Island. We have one in Suomi, one here, but one of the families has one in Sordemanland. So we could try putting one in Ireland here. But there are no cities there. Are there any cities here? Cities increase the value of the trade posts in them. So there are 2 cities in Upland, and it would only cost 189 to build one there. So we could try going for one in Upland. How many cities in Sordemanland? Only the 1. So we can build one in Upland. We'll hopefully increase the trade value of that trade zone by quite a bit, as well as reinforcing it. So remember to consider that when you're placing your trade posts. Placing them in counties that have cities in them is going to improve the value of your trade zone, because you've got access to cities which are going to consume the goods you are trading. So it's quite logical in that regard. The more cities in a trade zone, the better, because you're basically linking all these cities up. And the more cities, the more stuff to trade, the more freight there is. The more freight there is, obviously, the more you're going to get paid. We've got 300, so we've got twice what we need for the next trade post. We should look at upgrading one of our trade ports, perhaps. Holland is, I believe, a new port, so it shouldn't have any upgrades yet. So we'll put a merchant port on there to improve the value of that trade zone. And we're spending money to make money. How's this one coming along? He's nearly ripe. So how is Straben doing? They've got that territory there. So they have 2 trade zones at the moment. Well, they've got 1 trade zone and a county. Actually, no, they've got 2 here, because they've got Vastman and they've got, I think, Marland there as well. So they actually own 2 counties and 2 sea trade zones as well. So they've done all right there. I'm not sure how valuable those are, but let's have a quick look. Strabens. Yeah, the Sodom and Land one is alright. Let's have a look at this Klavan one. Why is that one so weak? One city. Sodom and Land, one city. Hover over it, see if we can get a breakdown. Yep. Trade post 6, trade zone bonus. Let's see, connected to capital, that's why Sodom and Land is so much more valuable. Connected to capital means that the trade zone that... Connected to capital means that the trading post is connected all the way through to your capital, i.e. the trade zone is connected by sea and land, well by sea and or land, all the way back into the capital area. So for example, a trade post here in Suomi should get that bonus as well. Where are we? Hovering over here. Yep, connected to capital because it's connected by the Sea of Ireland. These two, on the other hand, will not because, well, there's no overland connection, there's no sea connection. This trade zone is completely separate from Gotland here. So again, if we hover over there, you can see that they don't get that bonus. Come on, hurry up, come of age. Johan. What was this one? Adolf. Let's try arrange a marriage. Let's make sure that the kids are firing out heirs of their own. I've obviously already got an heir, but you want to make sure that your family is producing these heirs as quickly as possible. So who are these? So who's this then? Ingon. So we'll mark her as a person of interest. Oh, those nested menus, by the way. Right-click on the person to bring up the first set of menus. Right-click again to bring up a set of quick access menus, including mark a person of interest. So, who are these people? He's the Duke of Smarland. So where's Smarland? Duke of Smarland. And he's got a few counties to his name as well. Alright, that's cool. So an alliance with him could actually be quite beneficial. So, let's see if we can arrange a betrothal there. Oh, bride price of 301. This is why I hate marrying the bloody nobles. Okay, so that would be a useful alliance, but on the one hand it would start out as a betrothal, and betrothals don't always trigger, and the bride price of 301 gold is pretty expensive given that we're currently saving for our next trade post. So, we could just tell the poor kid that he's going to have to marry another courtier, which, to be honest, is probably what's going to happen. So let's... we've got two suitable courtiers here. Neither of them particularly brilliant. This one's got a decent stewardship. Yeah, close enough. So right now I just want to make sure I've got one of them pumping out little heirs. Once I know that I've got the family's legacy secured, I can worry about using my offspring to start forging alliances and getting ahead in politics. Because obviously if we need to resort to military matters in the Republic, having a feudal lord with as an ally would prove extremely beneficial. Alright, so the son has become of age. These guys are actually turning out okay as well. So, are there any other eligible ladies of age? There are plenty of places where we could get alliances, but we'll obviously need bride prices for pretty much all of these, for all of this lot. Anyway, let's have a quick look to see if we've got our next limit. We do. So this one's going in Upland, where those two cities should help increase the value of this trade zone. So again, we want to try and build these trade posts as soon as the limit goes up, because remember, you're having to pay a wage to your adult male family members. So if you're not at your trade post limit, then essentially you're paying them to do nothing. That said, sometimes you might want to hold off because there's an opportunity. If there's a particularly lucrative but expensive trade post, it could be worth saving up the money and going for that. So remember, whenever I say these things, this is how I'm playing it. You should try other things. Don't assume that everything I say is gospel, because it isn't. Crusader Kings II is a very open, very free-form game. Okay, so our spy master is dead. He's deaded. Okay, let's install the next one. None of these guys are particularly great. Rurik would be a better steward. No, he really wouldn't. Why does he want to be steward with a stewardship of 2? He would make a good chancellor, though. I could potentially give him that position. Oh, this guy's crap with everything apart from his learning and his intrigue. His learning's not particularly good, and he likes me a bit more, but he is age 55, so he's probably going to croak soon. Sod it, we'll put him on the. We'll put him on. We might want to swap my heir out for centre scheme. We might want to swap my heir out from the chancellorship as well, because whilst my heir is basically using that position to gain himself some prestige, thus making it easier for him to get elected, he's not particularly good at the job compared to other people who could be doing it. Alright, so when's the next sprog spring up? Another 3 years. Okay, so we've got 3 years to consider where we want to put the next trade post, and that's of course assuming that the trade post limit will actually go up with the next one, because that negative 30% modifier is of course a pain in the neck, and to be honest I can't be bothered working out the fractions. So, where to put the next one? Well, we've secured the Sea of Ireland, thanks to placing... We now have 3 trade ports in the area, compared to 1 from somebody else. So we could look at expanding this trade zone up into the Gulf of Bothnia, as we planned. Now, placing one here would cost quite a bit. King Stenkil's opinion of me is currently giving me a 6 modifier. He only likes me at 15, so what we could do is send the Chancellor to try and butter him up, and with 3 years to do it, he would probably succeed. So building something else in that sort of territory could be good. Or we could possibly maybe claim the city of Turku here in Suomi. We could use the casus belli we have from that trade post to seize it. But to be honest, and again with the mercenaries, I'm not entirely convinced that we can fund a large enough mercenary army to really go for this. And we don't have any allies. So consequently, it could get a bit awkward, it could get a bit messy. Now this liege lord only has these 2 territories under his command, so we're only fighting 2 territories. The army that we have is alright. If I set my marshal to increase army size, I'll get a decent sized army. I could then supplement that with mercenaries. So this is how the vassals break down. I could try buttering up my vassals as well, spreading a little bit of gold around. That would probably increase the size of my army a bit more. So it's certainly a possibility, and the extra city would be useful. But for now, we're going to work on the assumption that we're going to construct a trade post rather than going to war, because as I say, going to war as a republic, not a particularly good idea. I mean, it does work, and those casus belli that you get from those trade posts are very useful, so believe me, if you see an opportunity to actually go to war and claim a prize, by all means go for it. Just remember that war isn't your primary means, but just always be ready to take that opportunity if you see it. So for example, if I see that this lot is at war, I believe it says so on one of their characters sheets somewhere, I think it says so in there, I'll be ready to jump on them, because if their forces are being depleted elsewhere, well, it's a no-brainer. You know, like we did in the playthrough with Duke Murcad in Ireland, where the territory of Desmond, they went off to fight a war somewhere in Spain, and while they were gone, we jumped in and nicked all their stuff. If you spot opportunities like that as a republic, go for it. Seriously. Alright, so let's carry on playing, let's carry on accumulating money, and let's see where this takes us. Okay, interesting event here. So one of my sons has been indiscreet, so we can make him chaste, which reduces his fertility. That is not something we want to do. We've not married this one off yet, I don't think. We haven't, no. So we could force him to adopt the child. Unfortunately, I don't think that he's... I believe that if you adopt, they count as bastards. So they're not technically of your dynasty. And they have to take the surname Snow. Alright, we'll have him adopt the child. Yeah, there we go, he's a bastard. So these guys can cause problems, so we might want to indulge in the time-honoured tradition in all Crusader Kings II games of infanticide. But not right now. Oh dear. No. We'll take the piety on that one, I think. I'd rather not have any more bastards in the family. Technically, I'm a bastard. A right royal bastard. Oh, hang on. Oh, what's this? What's this? The King of Sweden is going to war. Danish-Saxon de jure war over Hamburg. Okay. King Eric of Denmark. King Magnus of Saxony. Alright, so the king is actually only an ally in this war, which is why we can't join it. And the way you can tell it is because these are the two main participants of the wars here, and these are the allies. And these percentages are who's contributed what to their side's war score. So as this lot haven't tasted blood in the field yet, you can see that they haven't really contributed much. I'm going to demark her as a person of interest, seeing as we can't afford the bride price. Actually, all things considered... Oh, my dad's dead. Oh well. Yeah, all things considered, the next child comes of age in 2 years. The next one comes of age in 4 years. The income that we have is 122 a year. So we could afford a bride. We could actually afford a bride price of about 300 gold, and hopefully still have enough in the bank to buy a cheap trade post when the next person arrives, or at least be not far from it. So the post in Upland has been built. Yearly income has increased slightly thanks to that. This will get more accurate as you go on. I find this ledger, I think, updates a bit more as time goes by. Oh, this is one of my nephews. Ah, yes. This is a problem where you have a large family. You tend to get these nephews and offshoots and hangers-on popping up. So the trade post limit has gone up again. So we're now at the point where it might actually start getting awkward for me to keep constructing trade posts at a rate that I'm getting new male family members, especially if this lot keeps firing out kids. This is the offshoot of the family here. So let's consider where we're placing this next one. If we're going to put it down over here, let's try and see if we can find a place with some cities. Any cities bordering the Gulf of Bothnia? Nope, it's a pretty barren place apparently. Any cities up this way? Nope. Oh well. So this area, not hugely profitable. So we might want to put that on hold for now, and instead either construct more cities in the Sea of Ireland and really make this area into one hell of a trade hub, or we could start trying to expand out across the North Sea. And we could expand across the northern coast of Europe and up into the UK, or down across the borders of what will be Germany and France. Trading with the Holy Roman Empire, though, could get a bit awkward because the Mediterranean republics are also trading with the Holy Roman Empire, so that could lead to embargo wars. So let's have a look at the Independent Realms view to see what the situation is. So the HRE is actually very fragmented at the moment. I wonder what's going on there. Let's have a look at the guys at the top. Yeah, it looks like there may have been some sort of crisis of succession or something, because the whole bloody place is disintegrated. So that could be interesting. Someone's probably going to reform it at some point though, and if they manage that, that could be problematic. On the other hand, there are no other merchant republics in Denmark at the moment, and we pretty much need to advance into the Gulf of Heligoland first, and the best way to do that would probably be using Denmark, so we could say try and put something down in Schleswig here. So if we put a trade post in Schleswig, we get to access to the Gulf of Heliord. Schleswig also has a city and a baron, 2 baronies in there as well, so it's going to be quite good for trade. It'll also improve the value of this trade post. So how do we want to proceed? Well, I think putting one there is a smart idea. 234 gold to do so. The king likes me sort of, so let's see how much it would take to butter him up. A lot. This is a problem with bribing kings. Wherever possible, if you're going to be building in territories where you are not dealing with the direct person who owns that territory, i.e. they are a vassal, you need to be bribing their ruler, not them. And the further up the feudal chain you go, the more money you need to give them in order to make an impression. Which is why it's often a very good idea if you spot a civil war kicking off, like such as with the Holy Roman Empire. This place might be independent, and it is. This guy's only a duke. He likes me at 15 points, and you can see it would only take 24 gold to get a significant improvement with him. And that territory of his, I'm pretty sure, is perfectly valuable. There's 2 baronies in it, there's no cities, but on the other hand, it extends my trade zone into the Gulf of Heligoland. So, that could work nicely. How about this guy? Is he independent? No, Duke Magnus of Saxony. Okay. Well, let's take it that way then. We'll build the trade post here, as it's going to cost considerably less likely. 314... distance penalty is 123. In Schleswig the distance penalty is 66%. So actually, even if we butter this guy up with gold, odds are it's not going to be enough. So it's still going to be cheaper this way. But on the other hand, if this guy's opinion of me had been fairly high, and maybe my Chancellor had been working him as well, that would actually be the better move. So take advantage of civil wars as a means to deal directly with the person who owns the territory, as it's cheaper to butter them up and a lot easier. And also, if they're in a civil war and they have no liege lord, they have no protection from you declaring war on them. So this comes back to what I was saying earlier about war being an opportunity that you seize when playing as a republic rather than a means to an end. If you have a trade post in a territory that's become independent, use that casus belli because they've got no allies. Well, check that they've got no allies first, but you get what I mean. So let's construct that trade post, and when that trade post is finished, I'm going to bring this episode to a close. And what I may be doing next episode is trying to kill off a few of the family. As if we can bump off a few of the family, we don't need to worry quite so much about having to keep on top of building these trade posts so we don't cripple ourselves with our family dues. Bloody king is at war. You can see that our duties to the liege to keep his levies up and running has skyrocketed. Must be nice and wage war, spending my precious money. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Alright, that's better. Okay, we've had a great philosopher. I'll take that money hit. Yeah, 50 cultural points. Let's have a look at the tech. Nothing we can buy with that so far. Economy advances, I'm not too fussed about. Church infrastructure. Military organisation. It would be nice to be able to get some retinues. Because retinues would actually help supplement my army, and if I wanted to go for an attack on Suomi, that could be quite useful. So yeah, I'll take military organisation. Let's just see what that block gets me. Global supply limit and morale increases as well. Yeah, I'll take that. So, next thing to do is to build one of these retinues. Okay, I can only get to pick one. The good cavalry one I can't build. We'll go with a shock retinue, as heavy infantry tend to be quite effective. Oh, we've had another one come of age. How's the trade post limit? 6 out of 6. Okay. So you can see that upland one is proving to be quite profitable at 12.12. Gotland is the best at the moment, probably because it's got a lot more stuff in the area. Honest or deceitful? I could do without losing the diplomacy at the moment, but then again I could do without losing the intrigue either. Mind you, I'm not plotting that much at the moment, so I'll risk losing the intrigue. Okay, no change. Brilliant. Okay. We pause. We can see here that the Gulf of Heliogland has now been added to our trade empire. Schleswig is proving to be quite a profitable market, again, because it's linking into all of these. Jylland will probably improve a little bit now as well, now that this trade zone has increased in size. So, put there. This is the trade zone covered by the entirety of Gotland. You can see Pisa has been doing quite well. Genoa not so much. Wasn't there a Spanish one as well? Or was that one Genoa? I'm sure there was a third one down here. Oh well, not important. Up here anyway is Gotland, and we've done quite well for ourselves. And the trade zones. You see here, this is the trade zone for there. That's our trade zone there. So our next expansion, I think, is either going to be north, up here along the North Sea coast of, that's Norway, isn't it? I always get Norway, Sweden and Finland mixed up. Yeah, that's Norway. It's only a miracle I can actually pronounce them. Constructing there, though, would be extremely expensive, mostly due to the distance penalty. So what we could do is, considering it, is at this point now we're getting so far away from the capital, distance penalties are always going to be pretty large. Is to compensate for the increased bonuses that we're getting from trade in general. So we could either do that, or we could continue and try and advance into the Wadensee, or we could construct something in Holsten here, and at only 231, that's actually quite cheap, because King Eric of Denmark is moderately fond of us. If we construct it in Holsten, then obviously that secures our hold on the Gulf of Heliogald, because someone's going to need to build at least 2 trade posts there just to be able to freeze us out of our own trading block. So we'll look at that next time. We have armies rampaging, so we need to check that out as well. But for now, I'm Evis T, signing off.